UFC Saudi Arabia predictions video. I'm here with Sonny Buns and we're going to pick some of these fights for you guys. We're going to start with the more relevant fighters and work our way up the card. So, Rinat Vakretinov versus Nicholas Dalby. Who have we got?
So, I've got Vakretinov. I'm going to take him by decision, and I'm saying that he's going to out-grapple Dalby. Dalby's been on a tear. He's on good form.
We've seen the Dalbinator live.
Yeah, we have. Yeah, we saw him in London.
Since his best hits. Yeah.
Yeah, but I can't see him getting this one done. I think it's going to be a step too far for him, and I think he's just going to get out-grappled and decisioned, unfortunately. I'm
also unfortunately picking Rinat Vakretinov. We've seen Dalby over the past 2 years come into a prime form, which is very strange considering how old he is. Is he on EPO? Perhaps. But yeah, I'll pick Vakretinov. I'd love for Dalby to get this done. I just don't think he will. Granted, he just beat Gabriel Bonfirm, which was a great win from undefeated prospect in the welterweight division, and he did actually melt him. So I won't be 100% surprised if Dalby gets this done. But I'm picking Vakretinov by second round TKO. Up the card, Naimov versus Felipe Lima. Now, we have some strong feelings about Naimov because he killed our boy Wood, Nathaniel Wood, and that was a awful fight to watch because it was just the decision from the referee were blood boiling. Let's be honest with ourselves. Like that was
not docking a point for the finger in the glove, grabbing the cage. It's
really irritating. That, you know, Wood was on his way to a finish in that third round, and Naimov was being a bit dirty. He was. That being said, I think Naimov is going to chin Felipe Lima in the first round. Felipe Lima is making his debut. He is a bantamweight, and he is a small bantamweight at that. And Naimov is a massive featherweight. I think Felipe Lima is going to look like a child next to him, and I think Naimov's probably going to chin him.
Yeah, I do think Naimov may. I don't want to throw out any accusations, but I wouldn't be surprised if it came out that he would test positive for a few tests. And obviously, as you said, Felipe Lima is quite small for a featherweight, so I do see Naimov getting this one done.
Unfortunately. Up the card, Nasrat Haqparast versus Jared Gordon. Give me Jared Gordon. He's looked great recently. He just got a KO versus Mark Madsen, and he's just been looking great in his recent career. Had a very, very close, controversial fight with Paddy Plumblett, and he's been looking great. What do you think?
I'm going to take Haqparast, actually. Gonna flip the coin because I'm not sure. I've not really been too impressed by Jared Gordon. Yeah, so he went to a non-contest with Bobby Green and then
headbutt.
Yeah, and obviously lost to Paddy Pimblett controversially. But yeah, I'm going to take Haqparast on this one.
Up the card. So onto the main card now. This is an interesting matchup at light heavyweight. Definitely. Matchups at light heavyweight, as we know, are a little bit of a coin toss, but we've got Johnny Walker versus Volkan Oezdemir. Now I'm going to take Volkan Oezdemir. I do not trust Johnny Walker enough to pick him in this matchup against a power puncher like Volkan Oezdemir, because he is a bitchy and he realistically... I mean, the guy's an absolute physical specimen at light heavyweight, but he doesn't really have any fundamentals. He's a bit of a wild man, and that usually goes against him, to be honest. So give me Volkan Oezdemir by... I'd say late stoppage or decision.
I'm going to take Oezdemir as well by first or second round KO/TKO. Because Johnny Walker doesn't have the greatest chin on him. That's quite an understatement, honestly. Johnny Walker is obviously very athletic. Like in his last, the fight before his last one, in his first fight with Ankalaev, obviously he threw that flying knee, which nearly connected.
If only.
Yeah. The second fight against Ankalaev obviously didn't go his way.
Yeah.
And I just see fucking bitch. Yeah, I just see Oezdemir getting him out of there. I don't trust Johnny Walker's chin.
Up the card, Sharon Magomedov versus Joilton Lutterbach. Now Joilton Lutterbach is making his UFC debut versus Sharon Magomedov. He's got a lot of fights. The guy's a veteran, and that being said, he is young. But I'm going to pick Sharon Magomedov. Give me him by decision. I believe Joilton Lutterbach has actually just been training for a boxing match when he was called up last minute, meaning that he's not really ready to mix a martial arts, and I just think Sharon's going to be too well-rounded for him. I think he'll probably even beat him in the striking, But if he's not winning the striking, he can fall back on grappling if he really fancies it, and I don't think Lutterbach would really have any answers for that. What are we thinking?
So I'm going to take Sharabak. Fuck. Sharabak. So I'm going to take Magomedov by knockout because he seems to be quite passive in his grappling. So when he is on bottom position, he tends to accept it, and he doesn't really fight to get on top and get back up, which was seen in his debut where he didn't look great. He didn't look as good as people were hyping him up to be.
No.
But that being said, I think he's going to be able to keep it standing. Lutterbach is coming in on short notice. So yeah, I do think Magomedov's going to be able to get him out of there.
Moving up the card, Kelvin Gastelum versus Daniel Rodriguez. Now, in his late career, Kelvin Gastelum has been a bit of a train wreck. He went through that strange phase when he was stepping up against everyone on short notice. I think he fought Cannonier on short notice. He also fought Whittaker on short notice. Went 5 rounds with both of them, very impressively. But that being said, what did he do? He beat Chris Curtis at middleweight. He looked good in that fight, and I think that win has aged well, especially since Chris Curtis just had such a competitive fight versus Brendan Allen. But I don't trust Kelvin Gastelum enough to pick him in this fight. In his first fight at welterweight versus Sean Brady, he did get absolutely dominated and then finished. So I'm not picking him. I'm not going to pick him. I'm going to pick Daniel Rodriguez by decision. I think he's just going to do what he usually does, move around him, and win by decision. And he doesn't chin him. I do not see Rodriguez being able to finish Gastelum because he has got an absolute block chin on him. So yeah, give me Rodriguez by decision.
I'm pretty much identical to that, honestly. I've written here Rodriguez by decision. I don't see Gastelum being able to grapple him as he would like to. So I think Rodriguez is just going to keep it standing, pick him apart, and he's going to be. I think it's going to be quite a boring fight, honestly.
I agree. I think we can all agree that Kelvin Gastelum peaked a little bit early, especially with his fight versus Adesanya. Up the card, Sergey Pavlovich versus Alexander Volkov, 2 absolute giants at heavyweight. Oh, and this might even be quite a sad fight to watch because these guys are quite gentle giants. You know what I mean? You see them outside the octagon, nice personalities, and they're actually close friends as well.
Yeah, training partners. Yeah.
Makes this an interesting one. Give me Pavlovich.
Yeah,
I think Pavlovich. Volkov's a hard guy to knock out. Derek Lewis has done it, but no one else has done it since. But give me Pavlovich. If I'm trusting Pavlovich, no. If I'm trusting anyone to knock out Volkov, I'm taking Pavlovich. I think he can finish anyone in the division. The guy's an absolute unit. Granted, he just got knocked out by our own Tommy Aspinall in an absolutely beautiful display, but we'll touch on that another day. But give me Pavlovich. I think Pavlovich, it'll just be too much for him. Volkov has a tendency to shell up against the cage, and I think Pavlovich will be able to mix in some body shots, hopefully, and knock him out. But I would love for Volkov to win and bring a bit more to the heavyweight division.
Yeah, I think Pavlovich is also going to knock him out. They are training partners, as we said, and Volkov's even said in interviews that he didn't want to fight Pavlovich. He declined the fight, and he was sort of forced into the fight. Interesting move from the UFC though. But that being said, I still, even if Volkov is sort of comfortable with what Pavlovich does, I do think Pavlovich is going to be able to catch him, as he has done most of, if not all of his fights. Unfortunately, because I really like Volkov. Yeah, I don't really fancy seeing him get chinned, but against a guy like Sergey Pavlovich, it's difficult to pick against Pavlovich. Yeah. Okay, moving on to the main event of the evening. Now, obviously, this was Robert Whittaker versus Khamzat Chimaev. Something's wrong with Khamzat Chimaev. Yeah. Something's horribly wrong with that guy. He's hospitalised again, and it seems to be a recurring trend. I remember after his fight versus Usman, he was also hospitalised. I think there's a health condition going on. Yeah. We're not too sure about that. And now he's also contemplating retirement, which is very interesting. I really hope he doesn't, because most of his recent fights have been really exciting, especially the one against Gilbert Burns. So I hope Chimaev's okay, and I hope he can get back to good form and get back in the octagon soon. Yeah. But now that Chimaev has pulled out, we've got Ikram Aliskerov fighting Robert Whittaker. This is, I mean, obviously, there's a lot of people not happy about this matchup. They're saying Ikram Aliskerov doesn't deserve it. And on paper, yeah, of course, he doesn't. He's beat Wale Alves in his last fight, and Wale Alves was a bit of a fat middleweight. And of course, Ikram chinned him. But
he stepped up, respect to him, he's fighting a dangerous guy in Robert Whittaker, and I'm picking Robert Whittaker to show levels, and I think he's going to win by, give me him by late finish or a decision. I'm more comfortable saying a decision, but give me Robert Whittaker by decision. That being said, I do think that there's always a chance for Ikram to win. He's a big power puncher. Robert Whittaker, he's known as a little bit chinny. I don't think he's chinny, but I think at middleweight, if you've got power, I think anyone can really finish anyone. So I do think there's a chance. If Ikram Aliskerov has a chance, it'll be finishing him early. But ultimately, I think Whittaker shows levels and gets it done versus Aliskerov in the main event.
Yeah, I'm going to pick Whittaker by decision as well. I think he's got the 5-round experience. He's more weathered, I suppose, with these like big pressure fights, the main events. Aliskerov, he's obviously very dangerous. His only 2 UFC fights have been ended by first-round knockout, so obviously he's a very dangerous puncher. Whittaker will need to be very careful, but I do think he's going to be able to keep him out of range. He's going to be able to survive the first few rounds. Aliskerov might start to gas out, and I think Whittaker's just going to be able to weather the storm and take him to a 5-round, pretty easy decision, I think.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope Whittaker wins this one. I think Aliskerov will have his time, but I don't think his time's yet. I think he's a great prospect, but I think they'll make a mistake pushing him like this. I don't like it when they push prospects to the top, because a lot of the time it does go wrong. Now granted, they weren't planning on pushing him straight to the top. I mean, they tried, but it did fail. But having him step in on short notice, I suppose, is a good excuse to get another Dagestani put against the top opponent. So that is our prediction video. We will be back after the Saudi card to break down some of those fights and give you some of the fights that we think should happen next. And until then, thank you very much.